Hello, beautiful people. Of course, it's your boy, Prosper Michael, here in the studio, Prime Media Studio. Of course, I'm going to be solo today. I'll be giving you around the major headlines or the whole tidbits as regard it happen in the country, from Vanguard, Punch, Daily Sun, China's, and the Nation newspaper. We have lots of juicy story uh, that make the headline today. So I'll be giving you all these tidbits. So, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, please kindly do so. And if you have subscribed, please just join us right now as I run through some of these major headlines. Of course, a lot have been happening from Sheung Kuti slapping a policeman. The Senate National Assembly is heating up. A lot of people are jostling for that position, the number third position in the country. And also, of course, the election tribunal, the petition is still ongoing. And I believe they've been granted rights for the program, the proceeding to be televised live on the. So that right has been given. And I also believe that a lot of people are not even happy with it that such rights has been given. And I know people want to see what's happening in why the proceeding is ongoing and all that. Of course, we can see a lot of story from around the clock also as regard the debts burden on the nation at this particular time. We're going to be starting with that anyway. Yeah, we can see from the Vanguard online that federal government incurs 36.8 trillion naira deficit in 8 years under Buhari. So that's what they incur within the 36.8 trillion naira. That's debts that this administration will be living for the next administration. And we hope this will not be an excuse for the incoming government not to be able to perform because it's a huge debt and that has to be repaid. Okay, so it's in the Vanguard online platform. You can see the story there. It's so yeah, that's the story. So it's a debt burden, and the next administration will be able to look into this and see how they can salvage the situation. It's not a good one, but I'm sure I don't know how this money were used though, but this how it is. So let's just move to the next story that talks about, of course, Buhari baffled by pervasive level of corruption. So he's baffled. As regards the, I'm just going to read just brief of the story that talks about the presidency said yesterday that President Muhammadu Buhari was baffled by the high-level corruption still prevalent in the country, despite efforts made by his government to fight the malice. It, however, noted that the president was above scandal and had no account to corrupt money anywhere in the world. Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, who stated these in an interview on China Television's breakfast program, Sunrise Daily, that was yesterday, said, if you ask the president this question, why corruption is still rife in the country, he will equally tell you he is baffled by the fact that people who otherwise would have been in jail are riding their Rolls Royce and their aircraft roaming around. He explained that under the Constitution, the president or the executive arm could only investigate and prosecute suspected corrupt persons. However, the moment the president or the executive arm takes these cases to court, his job is done. And it's up to the court to determine whether one is guilty or not, he noted. According to him, under the Buhari government, the highest officials in the nation's parliament and judiciary have been prosecuted on corruption-related matters. So the third highest person in the executive arm of government is still under trial, he said. So I think that's what she saying concerning why corruption is still lingering in the government. That from their own perspective, some of these cases has been heard over to court. But from there, you start hearing different stories. We're just going to move on. So the story, if you want details of that story, please just log on to Vanguard Online. You'll get the gist of that story. Of course, we see the story trending that police deny killing of 4 U.S. citizens in Anambra. So, and this happened, and now we can see that there is this denial that they're not involved. So, we're sure that this investigation is ongoing, and it will be properly investigated because it's a serious matter. If you go to Vanguard, you see the story there. So they refuted reports of the killing of some United States citizens in the states. So the spokesperson, Tochukwu Ekanga, in a statement on Tuesday on Onitsha, said that no U.S. citizen was in the convoy attacked by gunmen on Tuesday. So go ahead and read the story. And of course, something happened. The president-elect is still going through a lot of legal process from every corner. A lot of people are saying that there are so many issues surrounding the president-elect. So as a result, for example, like the Guinea passport, group files fresh suit to stop Tinubu's swearing in. So he insists he lied on oath. 1, 6 leave to apply for order of mandamus against police. So the civil society organization under the aegis of the Incorporated Trustees of the Advocacy for Societal Rights, Advancements and Development Initiative. So on Tuesday, approached the Federal High Court in Abuja with a suit that is seeking to halt this scheduled swearing in of the President-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu on May 29. The group, in a motion expert, is filed alongside the suit marked with FHC ABJ CS 669 2023, alleged that the President-elect lied on oath about his possession of a Guinea passport. It equally filed an affidavit of urgency wherein it requested the prompt intervention of the court in view of the planned swearing-in ceremony. Besides, the plaintiff further sought the permission of the court to apply for an order of mandamus to compel the Inspector General of Police, IGP, to investigate and recommend Tinubu for prosecution if found guilty of perjury regarding his Guinean citizen passport. So, yeah, we saw this still a lot of cases still pending and challenging this passport issue, so that this was not properly declared. It was not the non-disclosure by Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the INEC form EC9 of the dual citizenship of his voluntary acquisition of the citizenship of Guinea amounts to perjury. It appeared in an affidavit that was attached in support of the suit. So this wasn't properly declared. Now, based on the law, it ought to have been declared alongside other declaration. So that's still ongoing. So people are filing their case, and all they are asking ultimately that the swearing-in should be halted. And we know very well, based on the Constitution, if the outgoing president is going out, the president-elect is supposed to be sworn in immediately. But there's no space, there's no vacuum. Or except what people are predicting, the interim government and all that is allowed, which the army and the police are really fronting against. They are really standing strong with 2 legs and say, no, this must not happen. So as we speak, the whole situation is still in a very unstable right now. We don't know what's going to happen next, who, and with the courts say otherwise as regard these court cases and all that. So all these are all pending. So yeah, moving on. Of course, we see. Of course, the president-elect has been doing a lot of work, going to meet Tinubu meets Kwankwaso on peace talk in France. Of course, it's a bridge. It's a bridge making a moment. Let me use that word um, because if the cause is otherwise and Tinubu is eventually sworn in, there will be need to unite the country and, of course, unite. This is a nice move though because we know Kwankwaso in Kano is a strong side, and of course there's a need to be able to have enough people to run the country. So it's a smart move, and we see Mr. Tinubu doing all this before the swearing in takes place. So you can get the gist of that story from same Vanguard newspaper. Okay. Then of course this story that is trending about the two EFCC officials allegedly killed colleague over suspects item. It's not a good story at all. So that story is still being investigated. Let me just read briefly as regards the story. So, two officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Assistant Superintendent Apata Odunayo and Inspector Tochukwu Ogbuji, have been accused of killing a fellow officer, Inspector Ebe Dixon. According to EFCC chairman Abdulrasheed Bawa, the incident occurred when the trio had a disagreement over the procedures for the custody of items belonging to a suspect in detention. Briefing journalists in Abuja yesterday, Bawa said the altercation between the officials resulted in a physical fight, which led to the death of Inspector Dixon. He said, "We have invited you this morning to brief you about an unfortunate incident that happened at our Sokoto Zonal Command, which is suspected to have led to the death of one of our young officers, Inspector of the EFCC, Ebe Dixon. The officer passed away on May 7, 2023 at the Usmanu Dafodio University Teaching Hospital, Sokoto, where he was receiving treatment for injuries he sustained 2 days earlier in a scuffle with two other staff, Odunayo and Ogbuji. They had disagreed over procedures for the custody of items belonging to a suspect in detention, leading to a fight, a conduct which the Commission frowns at. It's a pathetic story. It's a pathetic story. And of course, they have actually briefed the media on this matter. And I'm sure the law will take its course. As an officer of the law, this shouldn't be. It's not a good story at all. We don't even, though the item was not properly disclosed, what item was that? But for that to resort to killing an officer, it must be valuable, and it's something that shouldn't happen at all in the first place. So yeah, the story, you can actually go online and get the gist of that story. And it's a good thing that the commission also opened up to let people understand what is going on, because I'm sure the news must have filtered out of the social media platform and all that. But they have officially actually bring it up and say, okay, this is actually what happened, and the matter is being handled accordingly. Of course, see this story on the same Vanguard that talked about DSS, police, military raid, terrorist hideouts in Kano. Kaduna recover arms. Of course, this is a good one because, of course, this ammunition these guys are using to terrorize the environment is hidden somewhere. It's not an invisible weapon, and if this kind of raid continue, a lot of this arm will also be recovered, which is a good one. Yes. So they raid the hideout of those criminal elements, and they were able to recover some arms and ammunition. So the story reads: the Department of State Service (DSS) yesterday, a lot actually happened yesterday, confirmed its joint raid with the military and police forces on terrorists hideout in parts of Kaduna and Kano states. In the statement by DSS spokesman Dr. Peter Afunaya said during the operation, the terrorists deployed improvised explosive device IEDs against the fighting forces. The statement said one of the terrorists who wore suicide jacket blew himself up, while 3 suspects were arrested. According to the statement, items recovered upon a search on the group's accommodation after police EOD had defused other IEDs. Were 2 suicide jackets, an AK-47 rifle, a pistol, and 1 laptop. It was gathered that during the raid in Kano State, 2 suspects were arrested, while a pistol, 11 mobile phones, 2 hand grenades, 1 fully charged AK-47 magazine, 2 empty AK-47 magazines, 1 Peugeot 307 car, and ID card belonging to a suspect that escaped were seized. Okay, so that's what happened. It's a beautiful. Some it's a beautiful news. Looking at how these terrorists have ravaged a lot of communities and rendered people homeless, and a lot of people, parents, child, fatherless and motherless. And this raid, the way it's coming, is a good one. We hope that the DSS, police, and military maintain this momentum to ensure this is properly, totally eradicated in the system, because it has become a pain, serious issues. Of course, we saw this issue of also. Now we're moving to the Punch newspaper. Of course, we see the story of doctors actually going on strike. One strike. Yes, the doctors have threatened to go on one strike, and so they have commenced that. It's going to start today. So strike. Dr. Sean talks. Medical tourism got $3 billion in 3 years. So a lot of money has been spent on medical tourism. So Nigeria spent about $3 billion on foreign healthcare-related services from 2020 to 2022, according to findings by The Punch. The total spending for the period under review was obtained from the balance of payments database of the Central Bank of Nigeria. This came to the fore on Tuesday as the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors insists on starting a warning strike on Wednesday, which is today. The doctors are starting the strike despite the fact that the federal government said it had begun talks with their parent body, the Nigerian Medical Association. So, as doctors cited poor health infrastructures as one of the reasons for the strike, the Punch observes that Nigerians spent a total of $7.07 billion on overseas treatments between 2016 and 2022. The last bill for medical tourism was in 2016, about $17 million, while the highest amount was spent in 2019, about $2.57 billion. About $783.77 million was spent in 2017, while about $1.67 billion was spent in 2018. So doctors are saying they're actually asking for better pay and better equipment to be able to work with. And I think looking at why would our doctors be running overseas? Of course, it has to be based on poor facilities and poor payment. And this is what they're actually asking for. Give us better payment, give pay package, and give us better equipment to work with. I don't think it's a bad thing to ask, because I'm sure if these equipments are actually on ground and love the doctor will stay back. And most of these people, those that need the treatment, will be treated within the country. So the federal government are in talks with them, but they are saying, no, this talks not enough. We want action. So as to speak, the warning strike kicks off today. And maybe after that, if the demands are not met, they might take it to the next level. And we hope that doesn't happen, that the government will be able to nip this quickly, because we know this administration is already elapsing. Their tenure is elapsing a few days from now. And this battle, can they handle this? Can they take care of this before handing over to the next government? or are they going to hand over this issue along with other things to the next administration? Would it be a welcome matter for the next administration? These are big questions that are meant to be answered, and we hope all these questions will be answered soon enough. It's not good that you are coming to your house and you're making trouble in the house. You know, it's going to be, you have not even settled down, you've not dropped your bag from work, and you're making trouble. That's going to be tough. So if the strike continues and it's not quickly nipped, taken care of, it's going to be a battle, be that pill to be chewed by the next administration. So talks still ongoing, but the warning strike has will start today. So, okay, so moving on, we're still getting to some of these stories from the Punch online. Of course, we see that kidnappers adopt Oyo farmer, demand 30 million ransom. So this happened in Oyo. So farmer has been kidnapped, and a lot of money has been, of course, 30 million ransom from the farmer. That's huge. That's huge. And we can see the story on the Punch newspaper. So the family of a cattle dealer, Olushola Ayanshola, has been thrown into confusion after kidnappers who adopted him along Otalaga Road in the Iteshuwaju local government area of Oyo State demanded 30 million naira for his release. Punch Metro gathered that Ayanshola was returning from his farm around Alaga Road, close to radio station Ottawa Town. On Sunday evening, when two gun-wielding kidnappers intercepted his motorbike and shot sporadically into the air to scare motorists and passers-by away. Thereafter, the farmer was whisked away into the bush, and efforts by his family members and security agents to locate his whereabouts proved abortive. So, speaking with our Punch correspondents, Sayenshola's son, Olawole, said the kidnappers contacted the family on Monday to demand 30 million ransom, adding that his father pleaded with him and his elder brother Emmanuel to find a way to raise the money because the adapters tied him down at a location in the bush. So Olawale said the incident happened around 6 p.m. on Sunday. So that was when it happened, and this is huge. This is huge, and despite the military and the DSS and all the effort from around the block, around the corner, we still see this happening in some areas, and so we hope that the police will look into this quickly and see how they can rescue this man from this den of kidnappers. So that's stories from the Punch newspaper. Of course, moving on, we saw the story still on the Vanguard. Ogun threatens Ogun. So they threatened to shut food outlets for poor hygiene. So there's poor hygiene. Of course, you know some of these food outlets, when you go there, some of them you don't want to go back there anymore because of the poor layout of the environment. I have been some place where I refuse to eat. I have never gone back to that area anymore because of the way the food was being prepared and all that. So we saw in this story right now, the Ogun State government has threatened to close down some eateries and food outlets in the high brown Ilewu Aziz of Abeokuta, the state capital, for poor hygiene. It also said the promoters of the food outlets might face prosecution if they did not change. So the government has therefore issued a 7-day ultimatum to the affected eateries and food outlets to remedy the situation. According to a statement on Tuesday, the State Commissioner for Environment, Ola Oresanya, gave the ultimatum after an inspection of the affected areas, the eateries and food outlets in the state. Oresanya said the affected business concerns must immediately improve their operational hygiene to safeguard their customers and residents of the state from the risk of food poisoning. The commissioner said during the inspection, accumulated fats oils and greases and other food materials were discovered in a confined chamber, which were not cooked daily, thus allowing their breakdown by microbes, which releases toxic waste. Aside from this, it was discovered that they were discharging their untreated wastewater directly into the public drain. Open holes were also seen within their septic tanks, holding focal matters, general poor housekeeping, as well as evidence of rat infestation within their stores areas. Already, the state government has taken piece of evidence against the concerned eateries and food outlets in case they need to be prosecuted for food poisoning and possible escalation to other federal agencies should they fail to correct and improve on all anomalies pointed out to them within the stipulated days, disciplinary rate. So what was discovered, which they were not shut down though. They were threatened to actually remedy the situation quickly. I think it's a good gesture and it's kind enough. And of course, when you are preparing food for people to eat, a lot of people have different systems, and I can rat be moving everywhere and putting grease inside the septic, making the place very where one is eating, making the place very, very. When you enter some eat, you see some flies hovering all over your food. You have to use your hand to chase fly away before you can eat food. These are not really good enough. And some people will just come, they will never come back again because the place is very well kept. I think that's why sanitize this and they give it an ultimatum to quickly remedy this. Or else the sledgehammer will be brought out. So it's a good thing. So keep your environment clean. When you are giving people food to eat, keep it clean. Yes. So that's what they are urging. Of course, 4 killed as gunmen attack U.S. consulate convoy in Anambra. You see the story on the China's news platform. You see this, we read part of it earlier today from the other news platform, but it's still surfacing from the Chinese news platform. So 4 persons have been killed following an attack on a U.S. consulate staff convoy along Atani Osamole Road in Anambra State on Tuesday. So the spokesman for the Anambra State Police Command, Tochukwu Ikenga, confirmed the development in a statement, but said no U.S. citizen was in the convoy. So the Joint Security Force have embarked on a rescue recovery operation in Ogbaru, LG local government, following an attack on the convoy of the staff of the U.S. consulate, which is yesterday by 3:30 p.m. along Atani Road. So the convoy was attacked, but according to the story now, no U.S. citizen was in the convoy, and so we hope that they'll be able to look into this and see how they can get these culprits, because this is not a good story at all. Of course, still on the issue of Seun Kuti, so as updated, so courts grants Seun Kuti bail. We read some part of the story that he turned himself in, and now he's been granted bail from that assault. Because we can see on that video clip that went viral how he was physically. I just slapped the policeman, and so that has been trending. But right now, some magistrate courts in the Yaba area of Lagos State on Tuesday granted bail to embattled Afrobeat singer Seun Kuti. So that story was. I don't want us to dwell so much on that story, but you can read the details of that story. But the bottom line was that he slapped a policeman, he assaulted the policeman, and as a result, he had to turn himself in for scrutiny and all that. So, of course, shift your warning strike. Federal government advises resident doctors. So, federal government is asking them, please, we don't need this kind of strike right now. Can you just hold on? Let's discuss this. The federal government has warned members of the National Association of the Resident Doctors to shift their planned 5-day warning strike, describing it as illegal. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, issued the warning on Tuesday shortly after receiving the letter from the NERD executive. notifying him of the impending industrial action due to commence at midnight. According to a statement by the ministry's Dr. Press and Public Relations Olajide Oshudun, the letter dated May 16, 2023 was delivered to his office around 5 p.m. on the same day. Upon receiving the letter, Ngige was said to have contacted the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, who informed him that a meeting had been scheduled by his office with the resident doctors for Wednesday, which is today. The Labour Minister advised the doctors to avail themselves of the opportunity for social dialogue with their employer rather than embark on a one strike, arguing that it was unknown to the law. So I will advise them to attend a meeting with the Minister of Health tomorrow. He was quoted as saying, I will also advise them very strongly not to go on a 5-day one strike. There's nothing like a one strike. The strike is a strike. Okay, so the meeting is supposed to hold today. But also the strike is also supposed to start today. So we look at that story unfold. But when you look at the demands of this doctor, on one hand, you will say, okay, fine, they are on their right. Then, of course, looking at what the government is also trying to salvage, the country is really, a lot of things are unstable. So strike will not really help the situation also. So they are pushing for a dialogue so that things will not be affected. Okay, so that story is on the, you can check that on China's news platform. Okay, so we are still going through some of the major stories that makes the headline today. If you look at Daily Sun, you can see the story there that says that Tinubu moves to co-opt Kwankwaso into a new government. We have read that story earlier today in Vanguard, so it's also in Daily Sun. So Tinubu is trying to bring Kwankwaso to be part of the government. If you ask me, I would say this is a good move. Of course, we need a government of unity where everybody would be involved and be involved and be able to move the country forward. We want to grow, want to move forward. So you can get the story from that there. Of course, Buhari orders hail taxi for placing Nigeria on global spotlight. Yes, this story has been trending. We saw how somebody was able to cook for goods 100 hours non-stop. And that she has broken the record on Saturday. I'm sure this a new record anyway, because nobody has been able to achieve that numbers of hours cooking non-stop. So that story is on the dailies. You can just go there and read it. With the whole, I think almost everybody have actually, almost everyone has actually commended Patsy on these achievements. So we cannot say Nigeria has set the world record on this. The whole world now is hearing about this. And when they ask, where is the person from Nigeria? It's a good one. So the government has also associated us in congratulated her on this fantastic achievement. Okay, so moving on. U.S. Secretary of State Blinken to Tinubu, we will strengthen partnership with Nigeria. So you can see that on the Nation newspaper. So the United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has told President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu that the Joe Biden administration is committed to strengthening ties with Nigeria. Of course, we need this to be able to grow. We need not a lot of support from every angle. Of course, no man is an island. Of course, we need to be able to link with foreign bodies to be able to achieve some of the things. So that's coming from the US. Okay, let's just move on to the next story that talked about poll petition. INEC president-elect oppose live telecast. Okay, So the question is, why are you opposing live telecasts? Let me just read the story. So the president-elect Bola Tinubu and the vice president-elect Kashim Shettima have urged the presidential election petition court to dismiss the application by Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party for a live broadcast of proceedings. Tinubu and Shettima described the application as frivolous and a bid to waste the court's time. Besides, they said the court is not a soap stadium or theater where the public should be entertained. With much respect to the petitioners, the motion is an abuse of the processes of this honorable court, the respondent stated. In a joint response filed on Monday by their team of lawyers led by Chief Wale Olanipekun San, they wonder why a petitioner desirous of a prompt hearing would file an application intended solely to distract the court and waste its precious time. They argue that the relief sought by the applicants are not such that the court could grant. They stated in the counter affidavit that the application relates to policy foundation of the court, which is outside the PEC's jurisdiction as constituted. The application also touches on the powers and jurisdictions invested in the President of the Court of Appeal by the Constitution, over which this honorable court, as presently constituted, cannot entertain. The application touches on the administrative functions which are exclusively reserved for the President of the Court of Appeal. The application is aimed at dissipating the precious judicial time of this honorable court. The said application does not have any bearing with the petitions filed by the petitioner before this honorable court. It is in this interest of justice for this honorable court to dismiss the said application filed by the petitioners, they said in an attached written address. The respondent faulted the applicant's reference to the fact that visual proceedings were allowed during the COVID-19 pandemic. So they urged that Atiku and his party failed to draw the court's attention to the fact that practice directions were made by the respective courts for the exercise. So these are just the arguments against, so that the proceeding will not be televised live. I don't know. I think the court will decide if to allow it to be televised live or not. If it's for the best interest of everyone, the court will hit to televise it. If it's not for the best interest of anyone, the court will also decide that. But I don't think it's a waste of time, because nothing has changed. Because the proceeding is going on and the judgment is being, people can see it all over wherever they are. I personally think this can actually calm the nerve. But these are their own. INEC and the president-elect are not comfortable. We don't know why they're not comfortable. The court will decide that. Okay. I don't think anybody should have any fear as regards this. Let the whole world see and know what is happening at the court. Okay. So, of course, what Tinubu should do on security by IG, DSS, and NASA. So, a lot of advice is coming from every angle on what a lot of people are advising the president-elect. If you are sworn in, do this and do that, so that there'll be peace, there'll be security, and in the country. So, of course, I know some of this advice we will hear some of this advice, and because right now, the way we are in this country right now, we really need serious security. Everybody needs to be saved at this time. Okay, so on this note, from the advice of security, IG, DSS, NSA to the president, I'm going to call it a day here. So it's been Prosper Michael on giving you tidbits, news headlines from news across the country, from various newspaper headlines. And we hope you enjoyed today. And please just subscribe and join us as we bring you more of this juicy story next time. So do have a wonderful time.